Hi, I'm Kristi Gustafson Barlette with the Times Union and TimesUnion.com, and welcome to 20 Things Plus, where each week we catch up with somebody who was previously featured on the Times Union's 20 Things You Don't Know About Me. This week we are joined by Jené Luciani. She is a best-selling author. She appeared on many national shows, including The Today Show, Dr. Oz, Wendy Williams, Bethany, E! News, Access Hollywood, a very long list. And she's also a mom of four and a Capital Region resident. Welcome, Jené. I think I got your name okay too there.
Hi, Kristi.
Hello, and I should tell everybody.
You did. I
should say you're on data.
I was going to say, I just like making things harder for you.
Since you got married, you're on data and not Wi-Fi. So if people hear a delay, that is what's going on there. That's okay. Hey, we all make it work in 2020. So let's start with your first update.
I live in the country. Right.
Let's start with your first update, and that one has to do with your tattoos.
So my sleeve that was started, it was like a false start because well, initially it was actually supposed to just be a cover up of a very small tattoo that was here. And then I went to Jay Lavalette, who's our guy, and he's amazing. And he goes, all right, well, we're just going to do a half sleeve. And I'm like, okay, I trust you. So we did the half sleeve and then finished that. And that was about 18 hours. And then I ended up getting I think what happened? Oh, I got pregnant with Callan, right? So maybe that happened during that time. I don't know. Something happened where I couldn't go get tattooed anymore. So then I went back and to finish up there and he goes, okay, why don't we just go all the way up the arm? And I'm like, okay, sure. At this point, I've come this far, so let's do it. And we were almost finished with that. We were like 2 hours away from being finished with that. And I was traveling so much for QVC, and I ended up I have this propensity for blood clots. Unfortunately, it's called factor V Leiden, and it's a gene that makes me prone to getting blood clots. So I was doing all this flying back and forth to QVC, and I ended up getting a blood clot in my leg, and I ended up going back on the blood thinners and couldn't finish the tattoo. So we finally actually just after 2 years finished the entire sleeve tattoo.
So what was your final tattoo that finished off the sleeve?
So I don't know. Am I still in the shot? I can't tell. No, or it could be because you have a slide up.
No, we can see you. Go ahead.
Oh. Okay. So Jay's an amazing artist, and I just kind of let him do his thing, and I love the roses, so I got the roses kind of for the kids and everything. There's actually a whole bunch of them. It goes all the way up, and I didn't realize we were talking about my tattoo today. Otherwise, I would have worn a tank top or something. So I can't show you without kind of getting a little naked and maybe not being so PG, but I have some beautiful artwork that goes all the way up, rosary beads and a very pretty skull, as pretty as a skull can be, with lots of color and really intricate lines and details.
Very cool. Okay, now let's move on to your next update. And this one's about pets, and everybody loves a pet.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So this update should be called 14 Reasons Why I Wanted to Kill My Husband. Because he's like, hey, what about getting like another dog? Rosie's kind of lonely, and like Hammy's our son, my stepson, and he's like, Hammy's been asking for a dog with pointy ears, and how about like a German Shepherd, maybe in the next 5 years. And I swear to God, it was like 5 minutes went by, and he was on the phone with a breeder. And suddenly, the next thing I knew, we were going to pick out a German Shepherd puppy, and we ended up with Tonto. But he has been so great. As you can see from the Her Life, I was on the cover of Her Life magazine in 2018, and Angela, the publisher, is a big dog lover too. So she was like, your puppy's so darn cute. Why don't we have him in it with you? And so that's how that ended up. And so, yes, adding to the 4 children and the cat and the previous dog, we added another live being to our busy, crazy household.
And if he's a German Shepherd, he's not that little anymore. So how many pounds does he weigh now?
Oh God, I think he's about 70. Pat is much better with this than I am, but he's not super huge and he's got the long fur, so he looks like a giant teddy bear, like he's like a big bear. And he's really, really sweet. So he's really been a blessing,
Very
like
cool.
everything else.
And you mentioned Pat, we will get to him in a little bit so you can explain to viewers who he is. So now let's go on to your 3 new things, please. And here's Pat. You get to see Pat right here and your children.
Oh yeah. He loves the spotlight, so he'll.
I was going to say, I remember that when we did a story with you, we went to the Today Show with you several years ago, and he said, "No pictures, no pictures."
Yeah, exactly. I think at this point he's kind of used to it, so it comes with the territory of being with me. So I guess this update is getting married. Oh, so this is quarantining with 4 children. So yes. And we, after several years together, decided to tie the knot during this crazy quarantining pandemic. And we decided that we were going to get married about 10 days after we got engaged, and Memorial Day weekend, and surprise the kids and our moms. And it had to be under 10 people at that time, if you'll remember. So I thought to myself, okay, how can I pull this together? And I adore Angelo Santa Barbara, our local assemblyman. I appreciate everything he does for our area, and I'm pretty close friends with his chief of staff. And so I text messaged her and I said, does Angelo have the ability to like marry people? And she's like, I think he does. He's never done it before, but I think he does. So she got back to me right away and she said, yes, he can come marry you and he would be thrilled to do this. And so we did our little backyard ceremony, and our moms were both wearing shorts and they were super surprised. And everybody was really excited and happy. And it was kind of just like this really happy time during this time that had so much negative stuff going on. It was just this really happy sort of nugget of a memory for us all to have.
And then I see too, it says there how you have been quarantining with your 4 children and your husband and your 2 dogs and your cat, and like you said, everybody else. What has been the biggest challenge of quarantining with 4 kids? Because that's not easy. I know in the summer you had the pool open. I saw the photo you posted the other day that said, obviously the pool's not open anymore. So how do you keep 4 children entertained?
Well, we're a blended family, obviously. So, we have multiple kids that are going back and forth between 2 homes. So, it's nice because it's not like we're on our own. We have help. My ex-husband is a little bit far away. He's down in Westchester County. So that was a little bit of a challenge, going back and forth. There was that period of time where like you couldn't use a rest stop on the thruway and everything. They had the rest stops closed, and it was like the beginning of this whole thing. And I just wanted to make sure that my daughter still had quality time with her dad. And it was like all this stuff that was kind of going into it. And then on top of it, Pat's an essential worker and my essential worker. And so they were both, working and going to their jobs. So a lot of the homeschooling sort of thing kind of fell on us. So it was us just kind of being thrown into a situation of teaching. And, and I was like, wow, I really didn't pay enough attention in school. Was like basic math that I really felt like was challenging. And the girls worked pretty autonomously, like they were on their Chromebooks and everything like that. And they were kind of just like, hearing from their teachers. With my stepson, it was a little bit different. He's younger and he had a packet that he had to do. And half the stuff in the packet, I would be like, I don't know what this means or how to do this. So I would say it was a challenge. But the silver lining was that we had all this time together and the kids started like pitching in and doing chores. They were like cleaning the house during the day, and we were doing like military style phys ed drills in the yard with them. Like Pat was in the military too. So he had them like, with a harness on their back, pulling the Power Wheels car down the driveway. And we would give like a WWE belt to the winner at the end. So like we were doing kind kind of team building exercises, but like family building. So I think it was a really like challenging but learning period for our family too. And so now everything kind of went back to normal a little, and they went back to school, and everybody's like adjusting again. So it's been interesting, and I think a lot of us miss that, taking some sort of normalcy at the same time. But it was kind of nice, actually.
It does feel weird to have a quiet house when your children have been home for 6 months.
Yes.
School.
Yeah.
All right, great. And before we move on to the next one, I want to give credit to your husband because he's a firefighter and
Yes.
he's an essential worker, but I think all essential workers also deserve to be thanked. So that's very cool. The next
Absolutely.
one is actually, it says number 2, but it's really number 3 because we accidentally skipped ahead on the wedding thing. So now you, as beginning, you're a best-selling author. You have more than one book that's been best-selling. I know you wrote one along with a Real Housewife, but this is your most recent book. It's named after your daughter. And tell us a little bit about it because it came out during the pandemic.
Yes. So the funny thing about this is I wrote this book in a notebook on a plane to Chicago like 2 years ago. And I had this idea. I always get asked questions from people when they ask for my bra advice. I get a lot of questions about, parents, not just moms, but there's a lot of single dads out there too. And they have a blossoming, developing daughter, and they have to face that, getting her first bra, and they have no idea like how to do it. And it's interesting because you would think as a woman being a mom, like you understand like, oh, I take her bra shopping and I get her fitted and I do this. But a lot of women are just like, oh my gosh, my little girl is growing up and I don't know, what to do, and I can't come to terms with it. So I wrote this like really kind of lighthearted story about a girl kind of discovering that she's blossoming, and then how her mom sort of helps her through the process, and she ends up getting picked on, but then she, in the end, everything is fine because her mom sort of helped her through it. And then there's tips for moms and dads at the end. So what to do when you have to embark on that first sort of thing. And I had a deal with a bra company that has 300 stores. I was close to a deal where we were going to be kind of putting it in their stores. And then the pandemic happened. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'll just put this book out now myself, because it was ready to go. My friend Dominique, who's an amazing illustrator, had illustrated it for me. And I decided that it would be good timing because people are with their kids right now, and, kind of literally watching them grow up before their eyes, like, especially you're confined in a house with them for months or whatever. So you're kind of watching this happen. So I said, this could be like just great timing for people, and just something really like fun and lighthearted. And it doesn't, your child going through puberty is definitely an emotional time for them, but it doesn't have to necessarily be a negative thing. And I always feel like women have with bras in general, women have such negative views on it, and in their head, like, I hate my bra and I hate, and I'm uncomfortable. So I thought this would be a good way to start off early, where you have this positive view of this, amazing thing that's happening with your body, and that you carry that through you for the rest of your life with you.
And that is available on Amazon, correct? And maybe also on your website?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. It looks
Now,
like this. It's going to also be available soon at Bra Bar, which is great. My friend at Bra Bar, she has a store in New Jersey and a website, and she makes bras specifically for tween girls. So she's also going to be selling Gigi Gets a Bra as well.
Oh, very cool. And Gigi, like I said, is named after your oldest daughter. Or Gigi is your oldest daughter, so the book is named after your oldest daughter.
Yes.
Okay, now I would say.
Yes, exactly. And she was like an early developer.
So now we would go on to number 3, but we already talked about number 3, which is about getting married, and you talked about that. So at this point in the 20 plus, play a little game where we ask the person who's being interviewed, that's you, obviously, to guess who may be featured on Monday on the Times Union's version of 20 things you don't know about me. So here's the 3 clues. I feel like you may have an idea because you obviously, you used to work locally at Channel 13. You're a journalist currently. And you've
Yes.
worked in the TV world. So I'll tell you that to give you a little bit of a hint. So that might help with this. All right, number one is
a good hint.
My first job as a reporter was in Milton, Delaware. And she said, I tackled major stories such as President Trump's impeachment,
Okay.
your weather, and even the biggest Halloween parade in Rehoboth Beach. The next one is,
it's not Karen. All right.
Growing up, I always had long blonde hair. She still has blonde hair. I cut my hair in high school and donated 10 inches of my hair to Locks of Love.
Okay.
So blonde hair, started out in Delaware. And then the last one is I was named after an actor. Me and my parents, my parents were big fans. Obviously, she wasn't a big fan. She was a baby. I am the oldest of two, and me and my sister Carson both have unisex names. So any guess? A reporter, blonde hair, named after an actor, and it's a unisex name.
Oh, and you said Channel 13, right?
No, I just said that I was
not necessarily.
You know the industry because obviously there's crossover with when people know people from other stations. She wasn't there when you were there. And let me say, I also should add that if people want to guess, they can tweet us at Times Union, tweet me at Just Kristi, or comment on this on Facebook. But I will give you one more hint since I did mention the station. She's at Channel 10.
I was thinking Channel 10. Okay. So I have this because I do watch 10 also. I watch a smattering of all the local stations, and I have I think I know what you're talking about at the tip of my tongue, but I can't. I'm so bad at this stuff. I'm the one you don't want on your team at trivia night because I'm like, what's that guy? That guy. Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. But I was totally thinking Channel 10.
Yes. Okay. Well, people can guess, and I have to give a shout out to Mike Gustafson because he is. I don't know if you know who he is, but he loves local media. He follows local media. He always tweets about local media. So he should know this. He knew who you were. Was excited for you. So let's people guess for Monday, and that will be up on timesunion.com. Thank you so much.
Okay. Now I'm gonna be doing some digging.
Look at the staff page on WTN.com or news10abc.com.
Oh yeah, right after this, I'll be there.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Kristi. Good seeing you as always. I'm sure I'll be talking to you. Bye.